Hey groovy people, back again talking about my CBD experiment that I'm trying out to treat my Mal de Debarquement symptoms. So it's been about a week, and what I've been doing so far is taking the Dixie Botanicals decarboxylated CBD in the AM. These are 25 milligram capsules of decarboxylated CBD. Then in the PM, I have been taking one of the raw CBD capsules. It's really tough to determine whether a new medication or a new supplement is doing anything for you, just because our symptoms vary so much from day to day and vary depending on what kind of triggers were around. So far, what I'm feeling is that my rocking is a little bit mellower throughout the day than what it had been before I started taking the CBD. I'm not sure if it's directly linked to the CBD that I've been taking, or if I just so happen to be going through kind of a mellow period with my Mal de Debarquement syndrome. There's been quite a few times already throughout this year and a half where things have been mellow for a week or two, and I've thought, oh wow, I'm getting better, I must be getting close to remission, and then next thing I know, I'm back to like 7 or 8. Just kind of out of nowhere, set off by a trigger. So it's tough to tell. In the PM, I'm noticing that my rocking is getting a lot more intense, which is kind of what I'm used to every day. It definitely intensifies more in the PM. I think when I'm just kind of tired, when I've used up a lot of my energy and spent most of my day focusing. I'm kind of in a hyper-focused mode all day long, really focusing my eyes on still objects around me so that I can help my brain know what is still, because my brain struggles with that. When I take the raw capsules in the evening, I don't feel like I get a lot of relief from it. I'm not sure that if it's because the raw capsules don't really have as much of an effect as the decarboxylated capsules do, or if it's just because once I get into that heavy rocking, more intensified mode, it's really hard for me to settle back down. I am still following my normal prescription treatment plan from my doctor, and even what she's prescribed for me is not really enough to settle me down once I've reached that really high rocking stage. So I'm going to change up the experiment a little bit this week. What I'm going to do this week is in the AM, I'm going to take the raw capsules, and I'm going to see if do I go back to a little bit heavier rocking and fewer calmer hours during the day, like what I noticed before I started taking the decarboxylated, or am I going to kind of stay at the same baseline that I felt last week? Then what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to take the decarboxylated CBD capsules in the PM. I'm going to see, is my rocking still something that can't be settled down even by the decarboxylated once it gets that intense? Or do I notice that the decarboxylated CBD is having a better effect on me in the PM when my rocking seems to intensify due to my probably fatigue? So we'll see how this goes this week. As of yet, I have not added in any of the tincture. I've also not added in any of the isolate powder. I'm not going to do that this coming week either. I'm just going to stick with the same 2 products. I'm just going to switch the order and see if I notice a difference. I think that's going to help me determine whether or not it is the CBD, the decarboxylated CBD, that's helping me, or maybe it was just a little bit of a placebo effect, or maybe I just happened to have a week where my symptoms were a little bit mellower in the AM. One thing I will say is machines like a washing machine or a dryer or a dishwasher are a huge trigger for me. When I turn on a washing machine or turn on a dishwasher or a dryer, I literally feel like I'm in the machine being tossed around. This week, while I've been taking the decarboxylated CBD, I noticed that I can throw a load of clothes in the washer, a load of clothes in the dryer, or maybe even run my dishwasher and really only be at like a 3 or 4. And I'm used to that sending me into 5 or 6, possibly even into 7 or 8 on the symptom scale. So I am hopeful that it is helping me with something, because I've never really had the ability to be able to tolerate being in my house while the washer and dryer are running or while the dishwasher is running. Last night, after a full 8-hour day of work, I came home and I ran my washer and my dryer, and I was thinking to myself, wow, I'm really impressed. I think something is working here, because I'm not feeling too awful. I'm kind of at my normal baseline 3-4 rocking, even with the washer and dryer running. But while I had my washer and dryer running, I also decided to go take a shower. Being in the shower is also a trigger for me. I think it's a combination of the sensory of the water hitting me, the sounds, and then also just being in that tight, confined space. While I was in the shower, my symptoms skyrocketed to an 8 or 9. And I noticed that I wasn't really standing still. I could see as I was like reaching for my shampoo and reaching for my soap that I was wobbling, shaking a little bit, bobbing around a little bit physically. So it wasn't just in my head, it was actually had become a movement that I couldn't control. And when I tried to focus on really standing still and getting it under control, it became more exaggerated, and the shaking and rocking became kind of almost physically violent, and I had to grasp onto the bars in my shower. So that set me back a little bit. But that was probably the only very, very intense trigger I had had all week while taking the CBD. So I'm going to see what happens this week. If you have any questions for me, leave me some questions in the comments. If you follow me on Twitter, you're free to leave me questions in any of my Twitter postings, because I do post about my Mal de Debarquement syndrome on there, as well as post all of these videos on there. If you're more comfortable sending me a DM on Twitter, I'm fine with that as well. But I'm happy to answer any questions that you have, as well as take any suggestions from you to kind of further my experiment and see how things go. I want to say also that when I was having that high symptom attack last night, I had seen that some of you guys on the Mal de Debarquement support group on Facebook have said that you have used CBD balms like on your neck and temples to help reduce symptoms. So when I was having that attack, after I got out of the shower, I did put some of the CBD balm that I showed you guys in my last video on my temples and on my neck. I'm not really exactly sure if the CBD balm did have an effect on me. I eventually did kind of settle back down to a calmer baseline, more like a 4 for the rest of the evening, but I kind of had to sit here and melt on the couch for a while before things would calm down. And I did take some of my prescription medication as well. So that was probably mostly what helped me calm down a little bit. So that's what's been going on so far this week. Next week we're going to continue with the same supplements. I'm just going to switch the order that I'm taking them in. And hopefully I'll be able to kind of determine whether or not the decarboxylated CBD is helping me, whether or not the raw CBD is helping me, One thing I will point out that I noticed this morning when I was reading over the fine print, on the bottle of raw CBD, it says CBD as hemp seed and stalk oil. Upon my research, I have seen that CBD coming from hemp seed oil does not have the same medicinal benefits. So my prediction this week is that in the mornings I probably will not have as many low symptom baseline hours as I had been while I was taking the decarboxylated in the mornings. I'm hoping that because the decarboxylated CBD capsules are not coming from hemp seed oil, that I'll notice that they are mellowing out those more intense symptoms that I feel in the evening. Only time will tell. We'll see. In the meantime, I'm going to keep on rocking. I know all you warriors out there are going to keep on rocking as well until we find a cure for this mysterious illness. So, ciao for now, groovy people. I'll see you again next week.